What if we looked at travel not just as a temporary escape, but maybe as a fundamental way of life?
Right, like a path.
Yeah, exactly. A path that actively fosters growth, sparks discovery, and, truly allows you to live fully.
That's a big idea.
It is. And that's the extraordinary idea we're diving into today, exploring Rolf Potts' transformative book, Vagabonding, an uncommon guide to the art of long-term world travel.
Mm.
And this isn't about quick getaways or like ticking off landmarks. It's really about a philosophy of movement, the profound freedom it offers, and maybe the often forgotten art of slowing down in a world that's just obsessed with speed.
Yeah, it feels like we're always rushing.
We are. So, our mission with this deep dive is to unpack how Potts fundamentally redefines what travel means, how you can reclaim your most precious resource, your time, and the truly profound personal transformation that the open road can offer, far beyond just collecting postcard moments.
And it's important to get this right away, I think. This book, this material, it isn't just a collection of travel tips. I mean, Potts gives plenty of practical advice, for sure,
Oh, definitely.
but it really is a philosophy for living. It's a way of approaching your life that subtly, but profoundly encourages you to reconsider how you choose to spend your days and years. It's about a deeper alignment, really.
Okay, so let's unpack this concept then. Vagabonding. Potts makes it crystal clear, like right from page one. This is explicitly not a vacation,
No, not a break.
not a quick escape from your life. Instead, he presents it as a deliberate lifestyle choice taking significant, extended time off from your normal routine to travel the world on your own terms. That's a pretty radical distinction, isn't it?
It's a critical distinction.
Yeah.
Because he argues, quite forcefully actually, that vagabonding isn't really about how much money you have.
Right. That's the common assumption.
Exactly. What truly matters, he emphasizes, is how you spend your time. And, I mean, it really begs the question for all of us, doesn't it? How much do your current priorities truly align with how you actually spend your days?
Potts really doesn't pull any punches, does he? Especially in his critique of societal pressures. The endless work cycles, the constant deferral of our dreams until some, like, far off retirement.
Mm-hmm. The someday syndrome?
Yeah. He pushes back hard, asking, why not travel now while you're young, while you're curious, while you're alive in every sense?
Mhm.
It's such a direct challenge to that whole work now, live later mantra.
He goes even further. There's a great quote. Vagabonding is about using the prosperity and possibility of the information age to increase your personal options instead of your personal possessions.
Ooh, say that again. That's powerful.
Increase your personal options instead of your personal possessions.
Oh.
So this isn't just about buying less stuff, though. That's part of it. He's presenting a kind of radical economic philosophy here. Well, in an age where we have unprecedented access to information and connection, he argues true prosperity isn't in acquiring more things, but in maximizing your personal freedom and your experiences. It's a profound shift away from a consumer mindset, wouldn't you say?
It absolutely is. It feels like ultimately he's reinforcing this idea that vagabonding is a mindset first, a philosophy. And it's summed up by that powerful statement, own your time or it will own you.
Chills. That's a strong one.
A powerful call to action, definitely. But I imagine many listening might wonder, okay, great idea, but how do you even begin to prepare for such a life-altering commitment? It sounds huge.
And that's exactly where Potts goes next. He dives deep into what he calls the art of preparation. And it's fascinating because it's not just about packing a bag or saving money.
It's more internal.
Profoundly internal, yeah. It's about challenging these long-held assumptions we have about work and security, what success even looks like.
Okay, so if vagabonding isn't a vacation and it's all about reclaiming your time, how do you prepare? This is where he tackles those big assumptions, right? Like the myth that you need to be rich or that long-term travel is just impossibly complicated or unrealistic for most people.
Exactly. And his counterargument is simple but potent.
Mm.
You don't need to be rich. You need to be resourceful.
Resourceful, I like that.
And interestingly, Potts puts a huge emphasis on the power of mental preparation. Like, before you even think about buying a plane ticket, he says you need to start reprogramming your values.
Reprogramming values.
Like consciously looking at what you prioritize and then actively working to overcome fear of the unknown, fear of financial insecurity, fear of what others think, and redefining what success truly means for you, not what society tells you.
Wow. So, what really stands out there is how much of the journey is internal before it's external. It's a mindset shift, first and foremost.
Absolutely, it has to be.
He makes a really great point, too, that you don't just find time to travel somehow.
No, it doesn't just appear.
You make it. He asserts that the key is making travel a genuine priority in your life. Even if, and this is the tough part for some, even if it means sacrificing some comfort, maybe stability, or, what society expects of you, it has to be a conscious choice.
And related to that, Potts also expands on the very purpose of work. He said something like, work is not just about making money. It's about creating the freedom to live how you want.
That really challenges you to think, doesn't it? Is my work actually serving the lifestyle I want, or am I just...
That's on the treadmill.
Yeah, just on autopilot. But okay, it's easy to dismiss these as like lovely philosophical ideas, maybe a bit utopian, but Potts gets practical too, doesn't he?
Oh, very practical. He doesn't leave you hanging.
He offers clear steps on how to actually simplify your life. Things like, tackling debt, seriously reducing your daily expenses, and consciously avoiding those unnecessary purchases. It's all about creating the financial space, but also the mental space for travel.
Absolutely. And building on that simplification, he introduces this really interesting concept of mini retirements.
Mini retirements. Tell me more.
Basically, instead of waiting for that one big retirement decades down the line, you intentionally break up your working life with significant periods of travel. Maybe 6 months here, a year there.
Ah, I see. So it's not necessarily quitting forever.
Not at all. It
Oh,
makes it
okay.
feel more achievable, maybe. It's a tangible way to dip your toe in, to experience long-term travel without necessarily abandoning your entire career path. And crucially, it lets you start. You don't have to wait 50 years.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so preparation is key, simplifying is key, but then comes the money. And Potts offers this really provocative insight here, one that really challenges a common belief. Money is not your biggest barrier, your habits are.
Hmm. That one hits home, doesn't it?
It really makes you pause.
It speaks to a larger principle, I think, that it's often less about your actual income level and much more about how you manage what you do have.
Hmm.
He's essentially talking about rewiring your personal finances so they actively support rather than oppose your travel dreams.
So it's about aligning spending with values again.
Exactly. Aligning your spending with your deepest values, which for the vagabonder is experience and freedom.
Right. So he details practical tips for financing the journey. Saving consistently, even if it's just small amounts.
Every little bit counts.
Meticulously tracking where your money actually goes and consciously avoiding living above your means. It sounds surprisingly simple, but I guess it's profoundly effective if you stick to it.
He emphasizes budgeting for travel like it's an essential investment in your personal growth, just like you budget for rent or a car payment. Treat travel savings as non-negotiable,
That requires valuing experience over material possessions, though.
which is a significant mental leap for many people in our culture, absolutely.
And here's a surprising insight from the book that I think blows a lot of people's minds. Traveling the world, especially long-term and slowly, can often be cheaper than simply living in a major Western city.
It sounds crazy, but once you adjust your habits and priorities, it's often true. Your day-to-day costs in many parts of the world are significantly lower.
So how do you fund it then, beyond just saving?
Well, Potts lists a whole variety of creative ways. Things like finding freelance gigs you can do remotely, picking up seasonal work along the way, developing online income streams.
Like writing or design?
Sure. Or teaching, consulting, anything portable. Also, volunteering through programs like WMOFing, working on organic farms for room and board. Or even teaching English abroad, which is a classic way many people fund long travels.
So there are many avenues beyond just a traditional 9 to 5 that you leave behind.
Far more than most people realize. You just need to be resourceful and flexible.
He really ties this section together with some profound wisdom. Once you learn how to live on little, it becomes easier to explore the world on your own terms.
That's the freedom right there. When you decouple your happiness from high expenses.
Okay, so mindset shifted, preparation underway, finances getting aligned. When it comes to actually embarking on the adventure, Potts focuses on a really crucial initial step. He says the most important moment isn't booking the flight or even getting on the plane.
What is it then?
It's the decision to go. It's almost like the mental commitment. Making that choice is the hardest part. The rest follows.
That resonates. And once you've made that decision, he strongly encourages you to embrace the unknown, to actively stop over-planning every minute detail.
Resist the urge for the perfect itinerary.
Exactly. Instead, just start slow. Travel light physically and mentally, and above all, stay flexible, because that flexibility is key. The real adventure, the magic, often lies in the unexpected detours and encounters.
Potts offers another one of those perspective-shifting statements for this stage. The goal of travel is not to cover the most ground, it's to grow the most.
That completely reorients things, doesn't it?
It really does. It moves travel away from being a checklist of sights seen towards being a process of genuine personal transformation.
And building right on that, he advises choosing places that will actually challenge your worldview. Places that will, in his words, kind of break you open.
Wake you open.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Places that force genuine engagement and maybe discomfort, rather than just allowing for passive observation from behind a tour bus window. Makes you wonder, how willing are you personally to step outside your comfort zone and truly be changed by your surroundings?
That's a deep question. And he calls on you then to abandon that typical tourist mindset, right? To become a traveler, not just a consumer of places.
Absolutely.
And he gives really actionable examples of how to do this. Like, forget the guidebook sometimes. Just wander, talk to locals, even if it's awkward at first, get lost on purpose. Try to learn at least a few phrases in the local language. Sample new foods, even the weird-looking ones. And maybe most importantly, just listen more than you talk.
It's all about deep engagement, isn't it? Being present.
Exactly. Which leads nicely into the next part, life on the road. Once you're actually out there, Potts shifts the focus to the experience itself with a really heavy emphasis on presence. And he doesn't just mean being physically there.
He means being fully immersed,
Mm.
mentally, emotionally. And he cautions heavily against rushing. Against that, checklist-style tourism where you're just frantically ticking off famous landmarks to say you've been there.
The Instagram feed approach.
Kinda, yeah. Instead, he really encourages you to slow way down. Allow your days to unfold organically. Let serendipity happen. It's about savoring the experience, not just seeing the sights.
He also shares this insight, which I find particularly powerful. Long-term travel isn't about escape, it's about immersion.
That's a key distinction.
It's not running away from something, it's running into something new, embracing it.
And what's truly insightful, I think, is that Potts doesn't shy away from the hard parts.
Yeah.
He openly addresses the challenges you'll inevitably face on the road, things like loneliness, which can definitely creep in, or culture shock, or just plain uncertainty about what you're doing.
He doesn't sugarcoat it.
Not at all. But he reframes that discomfort. He suggests it's not necessarily a problem to be avoided, but maybe a sign of growth. He encourages you to embrace that vulnerability as an essential part of the process.
Yeah.
That's a fundamental shift in perspective for a lot of people.
That's huge, accepting discomfort as growth. And then he beautifully describes the joys that emerge from the slower, more present approach. The serendipity of unexpected encounters, finding someone you connect with randomly.
The magic moments.
Yeah, and the surprising beauty of boredom sometimes, like when you truly disconnect from your usual distractions and just are. And finding wonder in really ordinary moments, simply drinking tea with strangers who invite you in, watching sunsets over unfamiliar streets, sharing laughter with people, even if you don't share common language.
It's those small, unscripted moments that often become the most vivid memories, isn't it? Not the big-ticket items. And, of course, alongside the philosophy, he does weave in practical advice for staying safe, for respecting local cultures deeply, and for traveling ethically. But it all reinforces that key message. Stay humble, stay open, and stay, fundamentally human throughout your journey. It's about being a good guest in the world.
A good guest. I like that. But inevitably, every long journey has an end, right? You have to come home. And Potts highlights that you often return as a profoundly different person, sometimes in ways you didn't even anticipate while you're away.
Yeah, re-entry can be surprisingly jarring. Travel fundamentally changes the lens through which you see everything. It alters the way you view your own country, your job, maybe even your relationships. It forces you to question things you took for granted.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How much does my usual environment shape my perception of the world? And how much of that perception is just habit, learned routine?
Exactly. And Potts addresses that often overlooked difficulty of re-entry. People back home, even loved ones, may not fully grasp or understand your experiences. They haven't been through what you've been through.
Right. It's hard to explain sometimes.
Which can lead to feelings of restlessness, maybe feeling a bit misunderstood, or even feeling overwhelmed by the familiar routines you once knew, routines that now seem different, or maybe even meaningless.
That can be tough.
But he reaffirms Potts' core message here. The whole point of the travel wasn't to come back and impress others with your stories. The point was, first and foremost, to transform yourself. The true value is internal, always.
So the change is for you, not for an audience.
Precisely. And he encourages you then to actively integrate the lessons you learned on the road into your daily life back home, to try and continue living deliberately.
How so?
Well, maybe by consciously resisting the incessant pull of consumerism that surrounds us, by continuing to question established rules, even the unspoken ones in your workplace or social circles. It's about bringing that spirit of vagabonding, that curiosity, that deliberateness home with you.
So vagabonding isn't just something you do when you're away.
Exactly. And that reinforces the ultimate idea. Vagabonding isn't just about where you go, it's about how you live, wherever you happen to be. It's a philosophy that travels with you. You can cultivate that vagabonding spirit even when you're settled between trips, or if long trips aren't feasible right now.
It becomes part of who you are, and he concludes with that really powerful reflection that just sums it all up perfectly. The real value of your travels is not what you see, but what you become.
It says it all, really.
So vagabonding, it really is so much more than just a book about travel, isn't it? It feels like a gentle rebellion in a way, a guide for both the dreamers and the doers. And just, yeah, a profound rethinking of how we choose to spend our lives. It truly reads like a love letter to the open road, to slow mornings, to quiet awe.
I agree. And Rolf Potts, he doesn't give you a rigid blueprint like do this, then do that, but he provides something arguably more valuable, which is permission. Yeah. Permission to live on your own terms. Permission to maybe trade some stuff for stories. Permission to choose time over money, if that's what you value more. Permission to just wander and to wonder. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's really about reclaiming your agency and living with profound intentionality.
Agency and intentionality, that's powerful. So wherever you are in life right now, listening to this, whether you're actively dreaming of some grand adventure, or maybe just looking for a new way to live a bit more fully right where you are, we want to leave you with this provocative thought to maybe mull over.
What's that?
What are you waiting for? Because the road, in whatever form it takes for you, is calling. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to answer.